Well, it's personal between me and you, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, I'm patrolling the streets of Homestead, Florida. Shout out to Homestead, South Florida stand up. It's a beautiful, evening. The sun's about to set. It's always nice to see these South Florida sunsets. And listen, who knows when I will see the South Florida sunset again, because I'm leaving this week to go to San Diego for Chocolatito versus Martinez as the beginning of our nationwide tour where I'm going to go to as many of the big-time fights as humanly possible till we can't no more. So who knows when I'll be on these streets patrolling it again. But listen, man, while we're here, we're going to have a good time. We're going to talk some boxing. One of the fights that people keep asking me about is, people keep asking me, and they've been asking me since last Friday. They've been saying, BT, what do you think about Canelo fighting Bivol? And then some of the Canelo fans that like to give me a hard time, they say, man, well, True School Sports, you said Canelo would never fight Bivol, and now he's fighting Bivol. So you know what? Let me give my unbiased thoughts on Canelo versus Bivol. Now, you guys know I'm not the biggest fan of Canelo. And that's putting it lightly. But I haven't heard anything about a catch weight. I haven't heard anything about a rehydration clause. So assuming that Canelo Alvarez is fighting Bivol at the full 175-pound limit, I'm talking about no rehydration clauses, no bullshit, no playing around with the scales, and no contracted weight. I'm talking about you gonna fight the WBA light heavyweight champion and give him his proper respect as WBA light heavyweight champion and fight at the 175-pound limit of 175, okay? If that's what Canelo's doing, and if that's how the fight's going down, then you know what? You may want to save this video, because this probably won't happen very often, but I'm going to tip my cap to Canelo Alvarez, because you know what? This is a fight that, if you guys remember when the Caleb Plant negotiations, the original negotiations, when they broke down, this was a fight that was discussed. And, back then I said, nah, Team Canelo, their whole team is full of shit. They're not going to fight Bivol. They just use Bivol's money to get more money in that negotiation, which ultimately proved to be true. But I was under the impression that Canelo would never fight Bivol, especially at the 175-pound limit. So if that holds true, there's no funny business with rehydration clauses, no catch weight nonsense, none of that, then this is a great fight, because Bivol is a guy that is long, he's rangy, he's got one of the best jabs in the sport. You can love Bivol, you can hate Bivol, because I hear mixed reviews about Bivol. Some people love Bivol for his technical boxing skills. They say he's a treasure to the sport because of how he can box, and they feel like he's the best light heavyweight in the world. And then you got some people that say Bivol's fucking boring, he's overrated, and he really isn't a real champion because he was elevated to the championship. He didn't really win it in the ring, so he's no different than Devin Haney, but he beat some decent guys, some good guys like Joe Smith Jr. to validate himself. But some people just aren't sold on Bivol. So I've heard both sides of the spectrum. Some people are complaining. They say Canelo's gonna go to 175. He should have fought better BF, which is a fun discussion to have. But listen, as far as this fight, right? They're saying that this fight's going to be in Dubai. I was reading today that they're looking at this fight being in Dubai, which if that's the case, then we know Canelo's, he's going for that cheddar, that money, and so look, as far as the fight itself, it's going to be tough, because we saw when Canelo fought Kovalev in that fight, that really controversial fight that I don't want to talk too much about, but when he fought Kovalev had some success. And Kovalev was able to, land the jab pretty much at will in the fight, controlling Canelo with him before he got caught. And, I believe that if push comes to shove, Bivol has the skills. Bivol has the skills. He has everything it takes to fight the same fight Kovalev fought, but do it for the course of 12 rounds. He's younger than Kovalev was when he fought Canelo, I believe. He's fresher. He hasn't really been in no crazy wars. He hasn't taken any punishment. He hasn't lost yet in his career. So psychologically, he's not gonna be damaged like a Kovalev was. But at the same time, while Bivol's never lost, being fair and unbiased, Bivol has never fought anywhere close to this level. I mean, yes, he fought Joe Smith, but this was before Joe Smith became champion. And fighting Joe Smith, as far as the attention and popularity is concerned, that's nothing. It's nothing compared to what's going to happen now. Now, what I will say is this for Bivol: if the reports are true that he's going to fight Canelo in Dubai, then Bivol is being afforded a unique opportunity that most fighters will never ever get a chance to have. And let me explain my point of view on this. So normally when Canelo fights here in America, like in Las Vegas, like in Texas, the opposing fighters are truthfully up against it, because if you fight Canelo in Texas or Las Vegas, you're talking about a massive Mexican-American and Mexican crowd going against you. I mean, for Christ's sake, I'll never forget this. I'll tell you guys a bit of a story. So when I went to the fight with Billy Joe Saunders and Canelo, I'll never forget being there and seeing, 76,000, whatever it was, people. Most of which, like everybody was cheering for Canelo. You might as well have been in Guadalajara or Tijuana or anywhere in Mexico, because that's what it felt like being there. I remember when Canelo came out, the energy in the arena, just the spirit of the place. It was just being a fan. I was getting nervous. I mean, I was getting so much nervousness and so much anxiety for the fighters that I damn near wanted to shit myself. It was that intense at the Cowboy Stadium that night. So I say all that to say that when you're an opposing fighter and you're fighting Canelo here, you're going up against a lot. Oh, no problem. It's a lot to go up against. It's a lot to deal with, and if you never fought on that level, then it's you can't really put it into the words. If you've never actually been to a fight, a big Canelo fight, it's hard to put it into words. But when I was there at the Cowboy Stadium that night, I was like, God dang, Billy Joe really up against it. I felt bad for the guy, because it was gonna take something truly special that night to win, and he boxed a good fight, but it was far from a special performance. You know what I'm saying? So Bivol gets the chip. The reason why I'm saying this is good for Bivol is because going to Dubai, I'm not really sure what to expect as far as the crowd's concerned. But I know it won't be anything like what Billy Joe had to experience, or even what Caleb Plant had to experience at the MGM Grand. So because of that, I feel like it'll be a little bit easier to ease way into the fight. Bivol has to go in there, and I think he has to somehow get Canelo's respect with some power. Now, Bivol, I think, is a bigger puncher at 175 than Caleb Plant was at 168. But unlike Caleb Plant, it's been a long time since Bivol has gotten a stoppage victory. I mean, you would have to go all the way back to 2018 to when he fought Sullivan Barrera and stopped him, to find a time where he stopped an opponent. Now, there's two ways of looking at that, because since then he's fought the likes of like Joe Smith Jr., Craig Richards, Umar Salamov, and a couple other guys. All right, there's a couple ways to look at Bivol's last 6 fights where he hasn't got a stoppage. You can either look at that as, Bivol has no pop, and Bivol ain't really got nothing for Canelo, or you could look at it as, hey, Bivol does have pop, because if you watch his fights, there's good snap on his punches. It's not like he's not Paulie Malignaggi. The guy has power. You can't just run up on Bivol and not expect to get touched with something devastating. But he hasn't been able to show the extra quality and put these guys out. So you could look at it as either he doesn't have pop, or that Bivol is so good that he's mastered the art of winning a UD. So something's got to give. I think this fight will prove which one of those two that is, because Canelo's at that top creme de la creme, A-level, elite class level. Again, these are my initial thoughts on the fight. If he goes in there and there's no funny business, there's no, controversy, there's no 170 catch weights, rehydration clauses, then all the credit in the world. I'm giving right now. I haven't heard anything like that. So because I haven't heard anything like that, I'm giving Canelo Alvarez full credit for taking on Dmitry Bivol, one of the most skilled technicians in the sport. The same Bivol that when the great Pernell Whitaker was alive. All right, if any of you been really following Bivol's career, when Pernell Whitaker was alive, before he passed away, he stated that Dmitry Bivol has all the skills. He has everything it takes to go all the way in the sport and become the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in boxing. And you know what? What a glorious, momentous opportunity for Bivol to prove those words be true all the years later. So I'm looking forward to seeing how Canelo does with the jab and the boxing skills of Bivol. I'm looking forward to seeing how Bivol deals with just the adjustments and the IQ of a fighter such as Canelo. So it should be a good matchup. I don't have nothing bad to say about it. If you clicked on this video thinking I was going to say something bad about it, you're gravely mistaken, because we're not doing that. You know, there's a lot of things going on around 168, 175, and this fight's had Canelo obviously has a big effect on what goes on the weight classes. We'll talk about that in other videos, but for the purposes of this video, I like this fight. I'm giving Canelo his credit. Good for him. Good for the sport. And best wishes to Bivol. You know, this is a great chance for Dmitry Bivol to prove all the people that have believed in him these years, been hyping him up, you know, true against a top pound-for-pound talent like Canelo Alvarez. And should he beat Canelo, you know, that makes Bivol the man in boxing. That makes Bivol the next superstar in the sport. And it's really going to take his name and his career to that next level. So you guys leave your comments down below. Give me your early thoughts, your predictions, all that good stuff. Take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me. But I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on True School Sports, the home of boxing. If you made it this far, do me a favor and do yourself a damn favor. Hit that subscribe button and surely you will not be disappointed. You know, True School Sports bringing you the latest and greatest, the untouchable, you know, boxing content, interviews, news videos, breakdowns, live fight reaction extravaganza. We've got a great community of people here, boxing fans all over the world, from America to the UK to Australia, and on and on and on. So join the empire today. Hit that subscribe button. Take care and God bless.